With almost all NBA teams having filled most of their rosters already, no evident blockbuster trades close to taking place, and the start of next season only a few weeks from now, we can tell the shortest offseason in league history has come to a satisfactory ending. As always, most franchises made a few moves with the intention of either upgrading their rosters to improve their chances of competing for playoff positioning or building towards the future, while others remained quiet and decided to focus on continuity. And each strategy produced some evident winners and losers. But arguably no team benefited more during the last couple of weeks than the Phoenix Suns. With the addition of Chris Paul and a few quality role players, the Valley Boys are expected to take a step forward and challenge the rest of the teams in the West to put an end to the longest playoff drought in franchise history. Will they be able to do it? Welcome to Courtside. Today we're talking about the revamped Suns and how their latest moves help them improve both immediately and in the long term. Not so long ago, Phoenix was regarded as one of the most successful teams in the NBA. Despite never having won a championship, the Suns settled down as one of the most consistent franchises by never missing the postseason in more than 3 consecutive seasons since 1976. During that stretch, the organization reached the finals twice and made its way to the conference finals on 7 additional occasions. On top of that, it missed the playoffs in only 7 seasons, and it was rarely eliminated before the second round. Such a prolonged success was made possible by the team's ability to acquire star players like Paul Westphal, Kevin Johnson, and Charles Barkley, and put competitive rosters around them that allowed Phoenix to play a winning brand of basketball without needing to go through a rebuild. However, their luck would run out after the duo of Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire was separated in the summer of 2010 as the latter decided to join the New York Knicks. Without Stoudemire and with an aging Nash, the Suns faced a slow decline. But unlike in previous decades, the front office was unable to build a roster that was capable of making its return to the playoffs. The team came close to reaching the postseason in 2014 behind the play of Goran Dragic and Eric Bledsoe. However, a couple of losses against teams that were directly in front of them during the last 3 games of the season eliminated them from playoff contention, and before short, the Suns were forced to go through a full rebuild for the first time in decades. The decision was a difficult one as the team still had solid pieces that could have formed a competitive squad on paper, but after injuries took multiple key players out for a prolonged period and rookie Devin Booker emerged as a versatile offensive weapon, the front office chose to build around the young guard. As should have been expected, such a move came with its consequences, and the Suns turned into one of the worst teams in the league despite Booker's improved play. However, it was believed it was a matter of time before the team could start winning games once again. But as it turned out, things wouldn't be so easy this time around. As the years went by, the Suns' record kept getting worse, and many people started to question the front office's ability to guide the team back to respectability. And it was easy to see why fans felt upset with the lack of progress. Despite having multiple high picks because of their poor performances, the Suns made many questionable decisions in the draft, such as selecting Dragan Bender, Marquise Chris, and Josh Jackson. On top of that, the franchise suffered from a lack of stability on the sidelines as they had 4 different head coaches from 2016 to 2019, making it hard to develop any kind of consistency after each season. In other words, the Suns weren't helping themselves get any better, and some wondered whether a potential star like Booker would be better in a different situation. But things would finally start to change by 2019. Before the start of the season, the team announced that Ryan McDonough would be relieved from his position as general manager and that former player James Jones would be his successor. Despite lacking too much experience as an executive, Jones showed his intentions of putting together a mix of young and veteran players that would help improve the team's chances of winning games. And then, by the end of his first season as a GM, he decided to give Monty Williams a 5-year deal to become the new head coach. Both moves helped the franchise get some stability, and before long, the team was performing better than in recent years. While still far from being a playoff team, the Suns showed improvement on both ends of the floor thanks in large part to the addition of players like Kelly Oubre Jr. and Ricky Rubio, as well as Booker's continued development. Still, those improvements didn't translate into wins at first, and there were questions all over the place once again. However, things would change once the season was resumed inside of Disney World. While some people complained about the Suns participating in the seeding games, it didn't take long for them to prove why they belong inside the bubble. Behind an impressive run by Booker that included a game winner over Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, Phoenix became the only team with a perfect record in the seeding games and came very close to qualifying for the play-in tournament. That result led to optimism heading into the offseason as Booker seemed to be more motivated than ever to take the Suns to the playoffs, despite multiple rumors indicating otherwise. Now, it was time for the front office to help their star player and make him feel confident about the team's future. And so, they did. During the later part of the playoffs and in the weeks that came after the conclusion of the season, Chris Paul became one of the most intriguing players in trade rumors as he was able to help the Thunder overachieve, but was not considered to be part of the team's future. Therefore, multiple reports indicating the interest of contenders such as the Milwaukee Bucks and both Los Angeles teams in acquiring the veteran point guard came to light. But as the lift of the trade moratorium came closer, it didn't look like Paul would be sent to any of those teams. Instead, Phoenix emerged as a last-minute contender to acquire CP3 services, and seemingly out of nowhere, the team completed a trade that would pair the future Hall of Famer with Booker and DeAndre Ayton. Some people question the move by saying the Suns gave up too much to acquire a player that's already 35 years old and is set to make a lot of money. However, those comments seem to ignore all the benefits Paul will bring to the team. Despite his age, the point guard had an excellent year in Oklahoma City as the leader of a team that was supposed to start rebuilding. His experience and on-court vision helped everyone around him get better, especially young players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and big men like Danilo Gallinari and Steven Adams. So considering he will be joining a team that already counts with a star player in Booker as well as an intriguing and talented center in Ayton that still needs to develop his game, CP3 may be the perfect complement to the young duo. As one of the best point guards in the league, his ability to create plays for others will make things easier for his teammates. The fact he can also pull up from anywhere on the court to keep defenses honest represents a valuable upgrade over Ricky Rubio, who struggled to create his own shot. And while he's still capable of putting up points in bunches if necessary, he should be the third option with the Suns. That means he won't have to use as much energy looking to make a shot and can instead focus on running the offense and getting his teammates involved. But perhaps the most valuable asset that Paul brings to Phoenix is his experience. Despite never having won a championship, CP3 has long been considered as one of the best point guards in the league history, as well as a coach-on-the-court kind of player. That, along with his multiple playoff appearances, should help him mentor the young Suns so they can improve their games, both as individuals and as a unit. His leadership should also help take some of the pressure off Booker, especially in late-game situations. But the one who will see the most benefit of playing with the point guard is Ayton. The center has proved he has immense talent, but hasn't been able to make the most out of it so far. That may not be entirely on his own, but if there's someone capable of bringing the best out of a teammate, well, that's Paul, who also excels at creating plays for big men. Barring any significant injury, his addition should mean the Suns will be almost a lock to make the playoffs. And while it's hard to see them earning home court advantage, it would be reasonable to expect to see them finish with a similar position as the Thunder did last season. And while some have expressed their concerns he may leave after his contract expires, the truth is that even if he does that, the team may no longer need him to continue improving by then. 2 years of CP3 should be enough for Booker, Ayton, and the rest of the team to learn everything they can from the legendary point guard. So once his contract does expire, the Suns should be able to keep winning games if he leaves. But Paul wasn't the team's only addition. The signing of Jay Crowder is the kind of under-the-radar move that should help the team play harder while also adding shooting, defense, and the experience of a player that's coming off a finals appearance. Signing Langston Galloway and Twan Moore, as well as bringing Dario Saric back, should also provide the team with some valuable depth and spacing at almost all positions. So Phoenix could be one of the more versatile offensive teams in the upcoming season. To sum things up, although Phoenix has been going through the worst stretch in franchise history, it's starting to look like all the suffering will finally be rewarded. After a few seasons in which Booker's stellar play felt wasted away, next season should be the one when he finally makes the playoffs. And the best thing is the team is loaded with enough weapons to compete against anyone in the Western Conference. So even if it takes an adjustment period, it should only be a matter of time before the Suns start to look like a dangerous team. And they should only get better in the coming years. But now, do you think Paul's addition will be enough to turn Phoenix into a consistent playoff contender? Or do you believe the Suns are still missing some pieces? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.